Welcome everyone back to Mr. Weather Update. In today's video, look at the live radar, look at the UKV, have a look at the next 5 days, and the temperature as well, look at the GFS, ECM, and UK Meteor for the next following weeks. That will take us to the mid of August, about 15th of July, 15th of August, sorry, and I'll have that for you in a second as well. So remember that I've video earlier this week was that ECM doing the 42 weather forecast, and on Monday I'll be updating that again, so please watch that carefully as well, and I'll get this for you in a minute. So if you do, just make sure is that on? Is that my microphone on? Yeah. If you do start off with the live radar, you can see a little bit of showers around. Again, there's been a couple of showers in northern and western England this morning, and some further showers in north and eastern Scotland. Some of these could be quite heavy at times, and we've got some more a bit further north as well. Otherwise, not much showers other than a patchy drizzle in northwestern England. If you do look at the UKV, have a look at the next 5 days and the precipitation levels and see how much rain we might actually get this week, which, you know, will be better than recent days, let's say. So, this is Sunday. You can see a little bit quite clear, actually, in the morning for Sunday. And even for Scotland, could even have some brighter interludes at possible. There will be some cloud moving in from the west as we go through over the course of Sunday. And as we go after 3 o'clock, the cloud is thick enough, and that could even get to patchy drizzle at times. So it's a little bit of patchy rain moving in at times on Monday. Not that much in England, but in Scotland there could be some more persistent rain likely in Scotland. So very damp there, possibly even into areas of Northern Ireland as well. Other than that, rest of England, a bit cloudy. At the end of Monday, we are likely to see some heavy showers at possible though. Pushing from the southwest, could even get some heavier pulses at times. As we go into Tuesday, it gets quite interesting actually. So this is after the quite hot day. We've still got heavy and persistent rain in Scotland. That's frontal rain. However, we can see in the southwest we could have a couple of thunderstorms. Judging by how red this is, and looking at the Cape levels, they're quite high actually. 1,000 Cape, which would be good enough to bring some thunderstorms. And I believe throughout the day of Tuesday, we could even see some isolated thunderstorms, perhaps even scattered in some areas. And they're going to move northeast, I think. So yeah, quite a few areas going to see some thundery breakdowns, really, which is okay. Hopefully more in the south, but unfortunately not too much there in the south. And then on to Wednesday, could even have some more thundery breakdowns possible in the northeast. We'll have to see what happens there. But it's looking quite good for convective activity, hopefully. We'll have to see in a couple of days, because we've got a hot and humid smell. So it's likely, really. If you do have a look at temperatures for Sunday compared to, obviously, today, which is only like 26 degrees, they will be on the rise. Very slightly on the rise. So you can see for Scotland, still quite cool for the time of year, really. I don't think any of Scotland was going to get much of this hot spell coming up, or heat wave in some areas, perhaps. So we'll have to see what happens there, really. So, yeah, we'll see. Okay. So about that. So, looking over to Scotland anyway. You can see here again we're at low to mid teens, perhaps high teens in the southern Scotland. So 19 degrees is likely in Scotland, a bit warmer than recent, but so quite cool. Northern England, we're in the high teens, low 20s. We could see a high of 23 Celsius in North Yorkshire. And then we've got central and southern England getting on the rise again. Mid, perhaps a locally high 20, so 28, perhaps even I select 29 Celsius is likely in the Greater London region. Looking over to Sunday, you can see, Monday, sorry. You can see the temperatures are on the rise once again, back to the low to mid-30s in the south. But let's start on Scotland first. We are still quite cool. We're in the mid to high teens, maybe even low 20s in the southeast. 22 Celsius. 22 Celsius in southeast Scotland. So southwest Scotland, should I say? That's in East Ayrshire. Yorkshire could be, Northern England are likely to be on the rise again, so it could be in the mid-20s, perhaps even high 20s. 27 degrees is likely in some areas in Northern England. Otherwise, central and southern England, we're in the low to mid-30s once again. This would be the 8th to 9th, no, it's the 8th day of seeing this 35 Celsius. So yeah, we are likely to see 32, 33, 34. We can't even rule out the isolated 35 degrees once again. It's becoming quite common this year, really. And I wouldn't be surprised if we've hit it quite a few times. It's really ridiculous how many times we've reached 35 Celsius this year. This would be the 8th time. This is Tuesday. You can see here for Scotland, we're low to mid teens, perhaps high teens. So could see 20 Celsius in some areas. A bit warmer in some areas, but still quite cool in some areas still. Over to Northern England. Again, we're low to mid-20s, perhaps high 20s. 27 degrees is likely in northeastern England. And then over to rest of areas, well, in central southern England, we're well into mid-20s. But in East Anglia, we'll still be in the low 30s. So 32 Celsius is still likely in East Anglia area. And then looking finally over to Wednesday, much cooler day. We're back to around average for the time of year, perhaps even below average in some areas. So around there. So Scotland is unseasonably cool. Some areas cannot maybe even be in the high single digits, low teens. The highest we could see 16 or 17 degrees in Scotland there, which is ridiculous. Wednesday for Northern England. Again, with a bit of a low average, really. Even though it's quite not that unsettled, it's a lot fresher. I think this is the Thundery thunderstorms bringing out some thundery breakdowns, freshening up the air, breaking humidity. Could be in the high teens, low 20s for Northern England. 22 Celsius is the high I could see. It's a little bit below average in some areas, but around average in the rest of the areas in Northern England. Then over to central and southern England, we're in the low to mid-20s, 25, perhaps even 26 Celsius is likely. So around average, perhaps a little bit above still in southern England. If you do look at the 12-Z run from GFS, you can see a low pressure tracking north, and then another low pressure system from the southwest. That could bring in some clouds and rain at times. And obviously, as we get that, we have a bit of a thundery plume coming in. That's definitely a thundery trough, really. And that could bring some thunderstorms, breaking the humidity, and some transient ridges throughout the week. And we have got another transient ridge allegedly into next week, the eclipse day, by the way. That would bring intensely hot air from the near continent. Look at the colours, the thickness looks ridiculous if that had happened. But I don't think it will get that high on that week. But I think we're still in for a bit of settled weather for them. A bit changed, but we've got some transient... We've got some transient ridges forming and troughs as well. So it's not all going to be unsettled. It's not going to be settled. It's not going to be unsettled. It's going to be very changeable at times, especially in the northwest. See trough forming there. A bit of a trough forming in the northwest. Could be a bit more unsettled there at times. With another ridge. This is the Azores, I think, moving in. Again, bringing out wildly settled conditions at times. Looking over to the CMWF. Again, this is my favourite run, so more likely whatever's coming in this one is more likely to happen because it's the European Central one. So if we head in for the week, you can see there is a high pressure moving in from the east with a thundery trough moving in. And that could bring some thundery downpours, perhaps even long spells of rain at times. And of next week, we could even see the high pressure building in again, with low pressure up to the west that could even push in at times. That could bring a bit of a tropical air influence once again. So if that had to happen, we'll be back into the, could even be locally heatwave conditions in the far southern areas. We could see 30 Celsius again. Once again, or 25 to 28 degrees in the southern area. So looking like it'll be a bit warmer the second week of August as well. And finally, looking over to the UK Met Year run. Again, we've got thundery low to the southwest and high pressure building in. That pushes it out bringing in some fresh weather conditions at times, with another area of high pressure building once again. Perhaps some changeable conditions with showers amongst parts of the day. So a little bit of interruptions from the Atlantic. So that is what our is. So yeah, a bit changeable, but it's a little, it's not bad at all, really.